It's very hard to manage the emotional issues, the financial issues, which are huge.
What I spend on the medical activities that the insurance companies are not paying for, it's a large number.
I mean, spending $75, $100 an hour for speech therapy. $100 an hour.
All the way. You got it. Very good, Adam.
In order to pay for my son's therapy, we've had to give up a lot of things. We make the decision of whether or not I'm going to buy that CD, but that CD will pay for a quarter time for speech therapy.
Yay, you did it.
So I'm not going to buy that CD.
You did that all by yourself, didn't you?
Or you know what? That car looks really good, but he needs occupational therapy for the next year.
Welcome back. How to serve these families needing a lifetime of major financial support for their autistic children. Currently, the Autism Society estimates that the lifetime cost of caring for a person with autism ranges from $3.5 million to $5 million, and that the United States is facing almost $90 billion annually in costs for autism. In addition to being a leading attorney, lobbyist, and communications specialist, Brad Gerstman is a strong advocate for children with special needs, especially in Albany and our state legislature. Among his many good works, he has also served as the Long Island Advocacy Chair for Autism Speaks, one of the nation's largest autism organizations. Welcome, Brad. Thank you so much. Those numbers that I'm throwing out there, $3.5, $5 million, they're absurd for all but a teeny percentage of the wealthiest families. How does a family begin to take the first steps into this dark financial world?
Yeah, well, it is, Jim, you describe it really well. It is very dark, and just based on the video clip that you showed, it's heartbreaking, but we see this every day. We see families who are struggling to try to make ends meet, at the same time give their kids the best opportunity to be educated, to learn, and to have a better life, and parents will do anything, will mortgage their entire lives, will give up everything to do so. It's a very scary proposition when a parent is told that their child is affected by autism. What that means typically.
Let's say that they have had that diagnosis. Diagnosis made, the cost to be incurred understood. What's the first thing you can do? How do you begin to address it financially?
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm not a financial advisor, but I think from the regular, everyday person's point of view, the first thing you start to think about is, you know, how will my child live when I'm no longer able to take care of them? Okay,
get some life insurance.
So you need to get some life insurance, and you know the least expensive usually is term life insurance, and you want to start there. When you look at how am I going to provide an education to my children, to my child, you need to then look at what services are out there, what services are provided. Because once you look at that, see what you receive, and I think what you're seeing from a lot of parents is, how else can I supplement? Keep in mind, Jim, as you know, the services, the money for services is being based on the budgets of the state, the counties, Department of Health, all the above. Office of People with Developmental Disabilities have been cut over and over and over.
Just a couple weeks ago, as a matter of fact. Let's talk about this on two tracks then. First of all, government funding. What is happening at the government level to help families with autism? It doesn't seem to be going in the right direction.
Right. Well, since you mentioned help, let's talk about the help. A year ago, Governor Cuomo has followed a number of other states, especially local states, requiring health insurers to provide insurance for those affected by autism, for the treatment, diagnosis, and for other essentials for those affected. What that means is still being determined.
Exactly. My next question was, so does that mean that everybody hearing this out there with an autistic child say, good news, honey, insurance is going to cover everything? Not necessarily.
Right. No, not necessarily. It is good news. That part, you're right. Is it something that will solve everybody's problems? No, and that's still being worked out at the state level as to what exactly is included. I mean, you know, when it comes to speech therapy, occupational therapy, behavioral therapy, yeah, that's included, and that will be covered to a certain extent. So we are very fortunate that that's in there. But there's the part of the problem is, Jim, is there's a labyrinth of different agencies that you need to deal with, whether it's the Department of Health, whether it's your school district, whether it's the Office of People with Developmental Disabilities, now with your health insurance provider. And then if they don't provide it and they reject your claim, now you have a whole nother process that you need to go through. So for a family that's trying to deal with a child, okay, And now they're trying to deal with government agencies.
Which is basically becomes a full-time job, just dealing with the bureaucracies involved with A, getting these services, B, paying them for them, getting your reimbursements for them. It's unbelievably complex and one more layer of burden on these families.
Absolutely. It's a burden that is an unfortunate, I guess, necessity until someone finds out how to do this better. I mean, there are examples of other countries and other places that have that no wrong door policy where you go in and from birth to death, I know that sounds very grim, but is that people are taken care of, you're covered. Israel happens to be one of them. But you know, we haven't gotten it to that point. This is like basically just you know, pieces and parts to a puzzle that we have to put together ourselves as parents.
And I always tell people that the financial crisis of 2007 couldn't have come at a worse time for parents facing the autism explosion. We have to go. Brad Gerstman, thank you so much, a lawyer, lobbyist, and a person who fights on behalf of autism families. We appreciate you being here, Brad.
Thank you.
Okay, we have much more still to tackle in the time left. Up next, a therapeutic riding program called Horseability. Among its goals, to help children with special needs become more social and more independent. We'll head out to the track. And then finding a purpose, a growing business on Long Island that hires only people with autism. How it began and what the future holds when we come back.